Welcome to Benchmark 1, Module 3 of 3. This session focuses on impact evaluation and refers to comprehensive resource and support available via the Careers and Enterprise Companies Resource Directory. These are the sections we have broken Module 1 down into, and although impact evaluation is the final session in this series, it's not necessarily the end point. In fact, it may be the beginning, and it's definitely within a cycle of continuous improvement. Compass data and my own experience tells me that this is a tricky element. And as far as Benchmark 1 is concerned, it's probably one of the most overthought. So let's try and break it down today into something manageable and valuable for you. The programme should be regularly evaluated with feedback from students, parents, teachers and employers as part of the evaluation process. This also includes any agencies you work with within your institution. The vast majority of schools, special schools and colleges are now evaluating their careers programme using Compass. This process helps to identify progress and gaps in careers provision, which is valuable for engaging colleagues and making improvements. Impact evaluation goes a step further to find out what difference the careers programme makes to young people. Understanding the link between careers activities and outcomes for young people will help to ensure that careers programmes are of high quality and are effective. So the aims of this webinar are to understand what impact evaluation is and why do it, to understand how to approach impact evaluation, and then we'll look at and understand the different types of evidence, when to collect and use different types of evidence, what different types of evidence tell us, and tools to support the collection of different types of evidence. So it may be useful to pause here and consider, what's the impact evaluation and why do it? So what is impact evaluation? At the highest level, it's the understanding of the link between careers activities and outcomes for young people to ensure that careers activities are high quality, effective and responsive. But it's also about getting into the detail and thinking not just about what activities delivered, but actually how it's delivered. So why do it? Obviously to improve the effectiveness of careers programmes, to demonstrate the value of careers provision for student outcomes, to inform continuous improvement of careers provision. These are value statements, yet there's also a very basic compliance element in terms of statutory expectations around measuring and assessing the impact of your careers programme on students. And of course, it's an element of Benchmark 1. Where I want to get to today is beyond the compliance and back to the value of how doing this will contribute to effective provision and not sit outside of processes or be disconnected from practice. So time again for some reflection. Take a pause and think about the stages of impact evaluation. Don't worry too much about putting them in an order, just try and identify different elements or different stages to the process. This is a really useful impact evaluation toolkit recently published and is available on our resource directory. The approach and stages we are going to consider today are fourfold: plan, collect, review, and act. So impact evaluation plan. The starting point for maximising impact is to plan with intent. This means deciding on the outcomes you want young people to achieve through the sequence of activities in the programme. You can use progressive learning outcomes frameworks to help you pinpoint what's appropriate for each age and stage and how to help students to progress over time. We focused on this in the previous session, considering frameworks such as the CDI framework and the Skills Builder. The concept of theory of change can be helpful, but setting out how the activity or programme will achieve the intended outcomes by highlighting the links between each step and being clear on what wider support needs to be in place. This can inform your approach to evaluation. By gathering data on each step towards outcomes, you can then assess whether your programme has been successful and understand why. Use the documents such as the new CDI framework or Skills Builder to support you. So impact evaluation, collect. Gathering data that measures the intended outcomes and steps towards that is a core part of the evaluation process and can sometimes feel quite overwhelming. Here are some suggestions on how to get the best value from your efforts. Keep the data collection proportionate to the activity. Save surveys for new, untested, expensive, large-scale activities and use creative and informal methods for others. Make use of existing data. This includes published destinations data, attendance data, attainment data. Collect different types of data covering feedback to activities and broader outcomes and collect from different groups of people. Save yourself time by using Compass Plus for destinations and the Future Skills questionnaire. Keep notes of feedback and conversations. This can also be done on Compass Plus in the notes section as you log activities. As well as collecting data on outcomes, it's important to monitor the delivery of activities and levels of participation. This insight will help to explain the outcomes and to review the quality of delivery. Within the Impact Evaluation Toolkit, there's a handy guide that also stands alone to support careers leaders with collecting and reviewing impact evidence. So, really useful document on the resource directory if you search for collecting and reviewing impact evidence guidance document. So impact evaluation review. Consider the learnings throughout the year, but mark out a time towards the end of the academic year when you collate the evidence, analyse the results, pull out the key messages and organise the information ready for sharing with others, and then also to inform continuous improvement. Each section in the Collect and Review guidance document on types of evidence gives a steer on how to analyse and interpret the results. Quantitative data can tell you about prevalence and trends. Qualitative text data can be more helpful to understand experiences in greater detail, such as answering the why and how questions. The review phase may be part of a retrospective review to enable reporting and to track progress and also to celebrate. It also sits within the review your provision element of building a strategic plan. So in Module 1, career leaders are supported to consider a SOAR analysis within setting strategic priorities and action planning for careers. All the links are within the toolkit and resources. So Impact Evaluation Act. This is kind of the final step on the evidence. Use the evidence to review current provision within building a strategic careers plan. Continuously improve your programme by using evidence to consider what to keep, what to drop from the careers programme, maybe for next year. Use the outcomes data to think about which groups of students need more support and plan how to deliver to meet their needs. Does anything need to change in the sequencing or timing of events? So another opportunity for some reflection, possibly pause the webinar and consider what could you use as different types of evidence. So if you've had a sneaky peek already at the collecting and reviewing guidance document, you'll see that we hone in on these types of evidence that you can see on the screen. The table identifies the following types of evidence, when to collect the evidence, what it tells us, and suggests effective tools to support career leaders in evidence collection. So feedback, career knowledge and skills, educational engagement, and destinations data. And we're going to look at each of these in turn, starting with feedback. So feedback. Gatsby Benchmark 1 requires careers leaders to take into account feedback on the careers programme from students, teachers, employers, and parents and carers. This could involve combining feedback on individual activities, for example, where an employer delivers a careers talk, or for reflective views on the progressive career programme as a whole. Feedback evidence usually focuses on opinions, perceptions and attitudes. Other forms of evidence are needed to capture actions such as choice of pathway, research into careers or skill development. So just take a little bit of time to reflect on this. How can feedback be captured? So colleagues at Swindon and Wiltshire have shared fantastic ideas for feedback collection that are accessible to SEND and that do not require significant time investment. And again, you can collect this on the resource directory. Feedback gives you real-time information that can be used throughout the year to form a quick judgment on how well an activity was received by all involved, how well it met the needs of students, and what adaptations might be needed as a result. The full range of perspectives and reasons for the response should be considered. Student engagement is generally a really good indicator of the potential value of an activity, yet important learning can still take place despite children saying an activity is hard or makes them tired. It's important to understand the reasons for the responses so that adjustments can be made accordingly. We encourage the ongoing collection of responses to support review ahead of planning the programme for the following year. This collated evidence can help career leaders to meet Gatsby Benchmark 1, taking into account feedback on the careers programme. Remember that Compass Plus can be used to record notes about an activity, and guidance for this is included in the Impact Evaluation Toolkit. So when you take time out to think about feedback, imagine you're an enterprise advisor or you're the careers link governor, and think about what kind of questions would be useful for you to really reflect on feedback collected. So tricky question to think about. So these are just some of the possible ideas. So from a stakeholder's point of view, key event feedback, what went well, what improvements could be made to the programme, what were the key positive or negatives from stakeholders, including students, parent carers, employers, staff. What was the quality of the employer engagement activities? How could the quality be improved? Which employers might you re-engage with next year? Careers, knowledge and skills. Careers, knowledge and skills are the learning outcomes of career programmes. Similar to curriculum subjects, the delivery of careers education should be targeted at supporting students to develop specific knowledge and skills, which is defined according to what's needed for a successful career. These are proximal outcomes as they start to develop while a young person is in education, but continue throughout life and are actually a stepping stone towards education and employment outcomes. We cover the setting of learning outcomes and the building of a progressive careers programme more fully in Module 2. So the Careers and Enterprise Company has developed a measurement tool called the Future Skills Questionnaire to provide a quick and simple solution to tracking careers education learning outcomes from a student perspective. And you can access this through your Compass Plus if you've onboarded. The questions cover learning about different careers, understanding of labour markets, access to careers information, plans for next steps, awareness of learning pathways, trade-offs in choices, and understanding of selection and recruitment processes. There's also a second section about essential skills. So the questions were developed with reference to existing frameworks and in consultation with careers practitioners and sector experts. By using Compass Plus to distribute the FSQ, student data is linked directly to individual profiles and data visualizations are created, enabling careers leaders to track progress for year groups, students grouped according to characteristics such as gender, pupil premium, or you can drill down to identify specific individual students in need of additional support. For career leaders in the colleges sector, you don't yet have access to the full functionality of the FSQ because Compass Plus is currently only for schools. However, careers leaders help shape the 16 to 18 year version to ensure its relevance for college students. And some of the careers leaders also felt that the Key Stage 4 version might suit some of the Level 2 learners. The questions and accompanying guidance are made available on the Careers and Enterprise Company website so that colleges can program the tool with their own software. Many colleges have access to diagnostic tools such as Pro, Monitor, etc. So some more reflection, again, put yourself in the mind of an enterprise advisor or careers link governor. What reflective questions could be asked to evaluate career knowledge and skills evidence? Again, a range of possible questions. Do average cohort scores from FSQ show all year groups making good progress? Has there been progress with year-on-year responses at key transition points? Are scores similar in the FSQ for vulnerable groups, including gender and disadvantage? Can associations be identified between career programme changes and scores? What should be the focus going forward according to questions with more negative responses? Are students aware of all routes available to them at 16, 18? What year is that occurring in? Is there an alignment of careers interests with local skills needs? And which students require additional support to make positive transitions? Let's now look at another type of evidence, education engagement. These are examples and are all featured in this toolkit. So you can look at attendance data, end of unit or termly assessments, effort grades, behavioural rewards points, student perceptions, pass rates in public exams. And pause once more to consider what reflective questions might be asked to evaluate education engagement evidence. So is there education engagement evidence to support value of embedded careers across the curriculum? What evidence exists to show increased education engagement following careers activities for cohorts, specific groups, or for individuals? Has a particular initiative or activity been effective in improving engagement? Is the careers leader aware of where the need is in educational engagement so that careers activities and interventions can be planned to support cohorts or groups or individual students? You can gather education data from institution records or directly from colleagues. In many schools, special schools and colleges, career leaders work very closely with pastoral teams or student support and progression coaches, so we'll have ready access to education data. It may be most fruitful in the first instance to focus on students who have lower engagement and attainment rates, where there's greatest potential for the careers programme to have an impact. School and college level attainment results can be accessed from the DFE website and explored for patterns between groups of students and also over time. Reports for each school include Progress 8, Attainment 8 scores, proportion of students achieving passes in English and Maths at level 4. Local authority and national averages can also be shown for comparison. Education data can be used to track the extent to which participation in targeted careers activities improves the engagement and attainment of the most vulnerable students, and potentially to identify which approaches have been most effective. Engagement in curriculum learning and academic attainment are recognised by careers leaders and senior leaders as important outcomes of careers education that support young people to achieve successful careers. There's considerable evidence to show that careers education can support educational outcomes by demonstrating the relevance of academic learning and effort for employment and increasing the interest in curriculum subjects, particularly for the most disadvantaged and disengaged students. So again, let's look at the challenging area of destination data. What does destination data cover? Intended destinations. So this is where students' plans before they leave school, special school or college. Their actual destination, where did the students transition to? Sustained destinations, that's the pathway students are in for the 6 months between October and March after leaving school or special school. And the subjects, pathways and institutions, this is more detail about the where they've gone and what students are actually learning, what courses have they embarked upon. So for further resource and support on collecting and maintaining destination data, there are some examples on the resource directory, and there's an upcoming Benchmark 3 destination data mini masterclass. Another pause for thought. What are the reflective questions that could be asked to evaluate destination data evidence? This is going to be the final time we ask you to put yourself outside of your role and reflect on questions others might ask of you. So here are some possible questions. To what extent do students have an appropriate intended destination as they approach the end of school, special school or college? Are there any cohorts, groups or individuals who require additional support? Is the intended level of study aligned to the student's attainment? Are there gaps according to disadvantage, gender, ethnicity, or actual pathways such as technical education, higher education, STEM? Are there gaps according to disadvantage or ethnicity gaps in outcomes 3 years after leaving school? Perhaps again, including the technical education, higher education, STEM. What do the trends in NEETs or EATS in relation to the career programme tell you? Are the intended destinations aligned with local skills needs and the national growth sectors? So lots of key questions to ask. To help you with all this, consider using the SOAR analysis template to help you plot all the answers to these questions and identify your key priorities for action. So impact evaluation, act. The final step is to act on the evidence. Use the evaluation of evidence to inform building a strategic plan that addresses the needs of each and every student and that's aligned to your school, special school or college priorities. Beyond setting strategic priorities based on evaluation, also consider elements of the programme that may need to be added, removed or possibly moved in terms of the timing in the year. Specifically consider data evaluation. Be mindful of particular cohorts, groups or individuals who may need additional resource and support through the careers programme. Reporting on the success of the programme or even the gaps that have been highlighted is key in terms of considering what SLT or governors may need to know, understand and most and crucially do. Have you got a specific ask of your education leaders or governors, or are there specific elements you just want to shout from the rooftops in terms of celebrating success and impact? Use impact evaluation evidence to share successes, progress and impact of the careers provision on students and at school, special school or college level. Specifically consider what you want staff and parents and carers to know, understand about the impact and success of your programme. A few final reminders to where to get help and support. So developed with career leaders in mind, we've tried to make it easy and quick to find trusted high quality resources that you need to make a difference via our resource directory. We've identified and regularly update key resources that can directly support you to plan, implement and measure the impact of your strategic careers plan and progressive careers programme as you work towards the Gatsby benchmarks. Key resources to support this session include the Benchmark 1 landing page and the impact evaluation resource and support. If you haven't already signed up for the Careers Leader newsletter, then go to the Careers Leader section of the website, scroll down to the bottom and follow the link. I would strongly urge you to get signed up for that newsletter. Access to the free online Careers Leader induction modules will give you an overview of the role and get you started. There's also modules available for educational leaders and governors to support with developing their awareness of the value of careers and of careers leadership. And coming very soon will be a similar series of modules for the providers. And I'm sure you haven't missed this. So all career leaders require outstanding training. There is a bursary available for £1,000. These webinars will hopefully have brought home to you the importance of investing in training for every careers leader. So just take a look at the questions on this slide. You know, do you lead careers in your school, special school or college? Do you want to enhance your understanding of the careers leader role? Are you interested in high quality CPD? Do you want support and ideas on how to develop an effective strategic careers plan? Do you want to build your network with like-minded careers leaders? Do you want fully funded, flexible training and a £1,000 bursary? So if the answer to any of those questions has been yes, learn more about the training courses designed especially for all careers leaders in all settings. There's a limited number of 750 places available for this academic year. Download the training catalogue, which includes information that a careers leader would need and a helpful comparison guide around the 11 high quality training providers. And then the careers leader will be able to choose the right course to suit them so they can embed a successful careers programme in their school, special school or college. Once you've chosen the right course and the training provider, all that's required then is to register for the training. Thank you.